Well, today we have a 2004 Honda Acura with a 2.4 VTEC dual overhead cam, and all of a sudden this thing just started shaking really bad. We have a bunch of codes now, a bunch of codes saying that it has a misfire on all the cylinders. There are a few things that we can do to go ahead and try to figure out what may have happened. Now, the obvious things you want to do is go ahead and check your fluid levels. Let's start by checking the oil here. And I have no idea what has happened to this engine. We're going to start it up, but we'll want to go ahead and check all the engine fluids, but why it's still cool. And you can see that's okay. You want to look for your oil, make sure there's no milky residue on the dipstick, because if there is, you may have a blown head gasket, and that would be obvious right from the start. So that looks okay. Transmission fluid level. They said they had a check engine light for the transmission fluid, but that's kind of hard to believe, but you never know with these computers nowadays. That looks okay. So our fluid for the transmission is okay. And lastly, the other thing we want to check is the radiator. Check the antifreeze. Let's see if we have fluid in our radiator. Now, you do this while the engine is cold. Don't do it when it's hot, because you can get some pretty nasty burns. So we'll go ahead and take this cap off and see what we got here. And we have plenty of fluid, antifreeze, in our system, so we're good there. So I don't think we, I think our head gasket's probably okay, which is nice. And you can see we have a new alternator on here. So right here, this is all we can do. So now what we're going to do is go inside. We'll take our computer that we have, our code reader, and we're going to hook up this to the car. And by the way, this is a 2004, but it was made the 5th month of 03. But for some reason on the insurance card, it says a 2004, so I'm not sure why. But anyway, very nice looking car. Let's go ahead and hook up our computer. Tell you what, before we do that, let's go ahead and start this up. I want to let you hear it run, and we're going to start it up. And you can see we have 248,000 miles. Yes, 248,000 miles. That's pretty crazy. And you can see there's our check engine light. But anyway, you can see it's idling, and you can see it shaking, the engine. You can kind of see it there. Get you a nice view of it. But it's shaking pretty bad. But the motor sounds amazing. It sounds really, really good. So we're hoping maybe it's just a bad spark plug or a bad coil. Worst case scenario could be a burnt valve. Could have dropped the valve. But the motor sounds really good for anything like that to happen. So let's go in now and hook up the code reader and see the codes that we have. Okay, so we got our code reader hooked up. We're going to let this load up. Now, while this thing is running, I smell raw fuel. And now you can see the check engine light is flashing on and off. It's blinking. That's an indication that you need to park it, get it off the road, that the vehicle has lost more than 40% of its power on the engine. A lot of people don't know that. Let's go to the back here where the tailpipe is, and let's see. And you can hear that miss. Hear that pop, 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 pop. So let's put our hand up on the tailpipe and see if it sucks it in. Not really. But it smells like raw fuel back here. So we've got a cylinder not firing. So let's go check out these codes and see what we got. Acura. Isn't there a famous YouTuber that loves these cars? I can't remember his name. But, all right, so let's go read our codes here. So, I'm going to take this little plastic thing off. Cylinder 1 misfire. Cylinder 4 misfire. Random multiple cylinder misfire. Cylinder 2 misfire. So we have a problem here with the engine really shaking, causing a lot of these cylinders not to fire. So let's go ahead and shut the car off. And what we need to do now is go ahead and pull off the valve cover out there. So this video is just going to be sort of on the fly. I'm not sure what I'm going to get into here, but we're going to find. So we'll put that off to the side. And these coils is actually under the cover there, so we got to take a couple things off here real quick to get in there and check a few things. Tell you what, before we do that, I wasn't satisfied showing you guys that shaking. I'm going to do something differently here. Go ahead and start this back up. Alright. What we're going to do, it's shaking, but I know it's hard to pick it up on the camera. We're going to take this glass of water, set it up here. Now you can see it shaking. So it's shaking pretty bad, so there, I feel much better and happy to share that with you guys. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take our cover off here. Of course, we're going to be using our AutoGer electric wrench, which has been a really good tool that I did a review on recently. Alright, so I'll take that one off there. Okay, so here we have all of our fuel injector wires. We'll check all these, make sure nothing seems to be out of place. Everything seems to be okay, no broken wires. So now we'll go ahead and take this cover off in the back. And this is where our coils are located. Remember, October 1st, someone's going to get a free one of these tools. So make sure you check out my community page when I did this review. And now we'll go ahead and pop this off. And there are our coils. Okay, so here, like I said, are our coils. Now what we're going to do to simplify this, this has a solid dead miss. So what I'm going to do is start the car back up. And we're going to pop each one of these wires off of these coils here until the idle doesn't change. And when the idle does change, we know that particular coil is good. So let's go ahead and start it up. Okay, she's running, so let's go ahead and start with this one here. And I'm wearing gloves so I don't get, you know, cut. And the engine's getting kind of warm. All right, so that one's good. Hear the change of the engine. Can you see that or hear it? All right, so that one's good. Let's go to the next one. Number 2 here. All right, that one's good. Hear how that RPM changes when I pull it off. All right, so that one's good. All right, our next one. All right, that one's good too. Boy, I may be running out of lottery money here. All right, let's check our last one. And bingo, check it out. No change in the RPM whatsoever. Alright, so we know where the mist is coming from. It's coming from that cylinder, but don't get all excited just yet because we don't know if it's the coil or we have a compression problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull the spark plug out and we're going to check the compression on that cylinder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull this coil out. I'm not sure what number cylinder this is on this. I forget. Usually it says, but that's not important right now. Great tool, I'm telling you. These are lifesavers. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull this coil out. And I've seen a lot of times where these get melted, but I don't know. All right, so coil looks okay. So let's go ahead and pull our spark plug out and see what we got. Okay, so we're going to be using a 5/8 deep well socket here to get this spark plug out. And do yourself a favor, get you a magnet, because a lot of spark plugs these days, that rubber part that goes in this tool to take it out never lasts. It falls out. Just get you a magnet and fish the spark plug out. It just makes the life a lot easier. So go ahead and get this out. I'm kind of nervous about this because I hope it's not a compression problem, but we'll see. Alright, so let's fish out the spark plug. Maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. Alright, try that. Alright, so there she is, and let's look at it. And you can see, once upon a time, it was firing. It's brown. Alright, before we do this compression check, let's go ahead and hook all these coil wires so they can't fire on us. I mean, I could take out the fuse for the fuel pump or the ECM, but it's pointless right now because this is a lot easier to do it this way. And this applies to all vehicles, so those are all unhooked. And also a quick tip, if you're going to be doing a compression check, make sure that your spark plug and the tool that you're going to be using is pretty much the same. Hopefully you can see that in the light there, but you can see my compression tool is the same kind of threads, and it should work just fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and spin me around and around and around. See what we got here. And this doesn't have to be very tight, just kind of snug, because if you saw in that piece of clip, that video, that last clip, there's a little O-ring there. So, alright, so I'm going to, hopefully the lighting is sufficient. So it's setting sideways, but that's okay, we'll get an idea. So I'm going to go in and crank on the engine, and we're going to see if we have compression, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so what do we got here? I'm scared to look. Oh, thankfully, yes, we have compression. All right, so that's 150. That's pretty normal for a car with 200 and some thousand miles on. Actually, that's pretty good. So we can confirm this thing just has a bad coil. So see how easy that was? You don't have to be a scientist, or you don't have to have a PhD to work on vehicles. Hopefully my videos and tips will help you guys to diagnose your issues and fix problems, and hopefully save you lots of money. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a coil for this thing. And before we go out and get a coil, one other quick tip here that I wanted to tell you is, if you don't have a way to unhook all your wires on your coils, you can go right down here to your fuel injectors and unhook each one of these. Same difference, it'll keep the engine from running, and that way you can still do your compression check if you can't figure out where your fuse is to your fuel pump or the fuse is to your ECMU. Alright, so let's go find us a coil and fix this baby. Okay, so we're back from the parts store. Here is our new coil, about $60 from one of the big time auto parts stores, and here is the old one. Now what we're going to do here, there's one more tip that I can show you guys before you go out and buy a coil to verify your coil is bad. We can swap these around. Bet you thought I wasn't going to do that for you, huh? So we're going to do that before we put the new one in. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. Verify, you know, this coil is bad. You can swap coils around. People do it all the time, and it will give you sort of a process of elimination if it's bad. Okay, so we'll go ahead and swap these coils around real quick. We'll do our little test. This was the bad one. We'll put the red tape on it. We'll put this one over here like this. Drop that one down there like that. Hook our wire up. Same here. And we'll go start it up and see if we still have our miss. And just make sure the rest of them are all hooked up, especially the two down here on the bottom you can't see. Now we're all hooked up. Okay, our engine's running. Let's unhook this one. And you can see the engine doesn't change at all. I'll hook it back up. Engine doesn't change, and I will unhook the back one. And you see the engine changes sounds. So that coil is good there. This one here is definitely bad. No change in the engine sound whatsoever. So this is another test that you can do before you go out and start buying parts. Okay, so we got our spark plug in, nice and tight. Here comes our brand new coil. Slide it down there just like that. And we are good. Put our bolt in. Always start your bolts with your fingers first so they don't get stripped. And now we're tightening it up. And basically, hook our wire up. Or I should say wires. And we are done, my friends. So we have successfully taken care of this awful mess that we had. Alright, so we got our scan tool hooked back up. We'll go ahead and let this load up. We'll start the vehicle up. Oh, what a difference. It sounds amazing. Yes. So let's go in here and clear our codes. Okay, so we're finally connected. I don't know, for some reason that took about a minute for it to connect. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what we got. Looks like we have our check engine lights on. Let's read our codes real quick, see what we got. Stored codes, and of course all those codes that we had earlier. Let's go back, and we'll just erase all the codes. Oh, on this engine it wants me to turn the key on with the engine off, so we'll turn the key off. Alright, engine is on. We'll do it again. Erase codes. Enter. Yes. 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 And we'll see if she goes out. Do 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 do. Yay! Alright, we're done. Erased. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the vehicle back up. Alright, so our codes are gone. And we are good there. No more codes. So that took care of the issue. So nice and smooth engine. Let's go ahead and check it out now. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the old Acura. And boy, it sounds good. How smooth that engine is. Let's do our water test real quick. Show you how smooth it is. Alright, so we got our water. Show you how smooth this engine is now. Oh yeah. Much smoother. Before the water was sloshing around. Made a big difference. You can feel the engine with my hand here. Feels really good, so that really took care of the problem. Okay, so we're pretty much done with this video, and as you can see here, the motor sounds good. No more problems. So if you have an engine that's shaking, these are things you can do to verify what's going on, and probably an easy fix for you for this Acura. I know I said Honda earlier, but Honda, Acura, you know, they all come from basically the same place. And as you can see on the sticker here, so anyway, so we are done here, and that's about it, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully this will give you some idea what to look for if your car is shaking, or you have a bad miss, or if you're getting a code, a P0301 or something like that, a P0302 or 3 or 4. Hopefully this will send you in the right direction, and hopefully it's a cheap fix. So thanks guys for watching my video, and until next time, I will see you later.